far beyond familiar star maps, inside a tranquil alien star system untouched by war, a vast orbital research sanctuary drifted in perfect silence. Built by a coalition of peaceful civilizations, the station housed scientists, engineers, and historians from dozens of gentle species. Their worlds had evolved without major predators, natural disasters, or violent competition. Cooperation and diplomacy were the foundation of their existence. For centuries, their greatest pursuit had been knowledge, especially the study of ancient relics left behind by long-vanished precursor civilizations. At the center of their newest research project floated a massive artifact recovered from interstellar space, an ancient distress beacon, older than any recorded galactic language. Its surface was etched with faded symbols, and its internal systems pulsed faintly with dormant energy. Records suggested it once served as a universal emergency transmitter, capable of broadcasting across unimaginable distances. The Coalition believed it had been inactive for millions of years. The experiment was meant to be simple. Activate a low-power diagnostic pulse. Map its internal circuits. Then safely shut it down. But the moment power flowed into its core, the artifact awakened. Without warning, the beacon surged beyond containment limits. Energy cascaded through its ancient conduits, overriding every safety protocol. Before technicians could react, the device released a full-scale universal SOS transmission, blasting through hyperspace channels and tearing across half the galaxy in seconds. Alarms erupted across the station. Emergency teams rushed to containment chambers, but the signal had already escaped. No technology in their possession could retrieve or cancel it. Within moments, dread spread through the command halls as communications specialists decoded the transmission's frequency. It was not a standard distress signal. It was an extinction-level emergency code, one reserved only for civilization and in catastrophes. Worse still, the signal had entered restricted networks. Networks specifically associated with Deathworlders. Across the galaxy, only one species matched that classification: humanity. Records described humans as survivors of one of the most hostile planets ever documented. Their homeworld was plagued by predators, extreme gravity, violent storms, seismic upheavals, disease, and relentless environmental threats. Instead of perishing, they adapted. Instead of retreating, they advanced. War, disaster, and extinction events had shaped them into a species that responded to danger with overwhelming force. Human history was filled with impossible victories, brutal campaigns, and technological leaps forged under constant pressure. Among peaceful civilizations, humanity was spoken of in hushed tones, as the last species anyone wished to attract attention from. Because when humans answered a call for help, they did not arrive to negotiate. They arrived to eliminate threats. As the truce settled in, panic swept through the Coalition. Diplomatic channels flooded with emergency messages, but none could override the ancient beacon's authority coding. Their attempts dissolved into static, swallowed by the unstoppable broadcast. Then deep space sensors registered a massive gravitational distortion far beyond their system. Something enormous had entered hyperspace. Tracking systems struggled to comprehend its scale. At first, analysts believed an entire moon had shifted course. But calculations corrected themselves, revealing something far more terrifying. A single vessel. Larger than cities. Heavier than mountains. Its energy signature eclipsed planetary output. The humans had received the message. And they were coming. Across alien worlds, citizens gathered beneath artificial skies, watching as a distant star dimmed, consumed by the shadow of an approaching colossus. Fear took root in every mind. A simple experiment had become a galactic catastrophe. Because one mistake had summoned the most dangerous species ever to walk the stars. And they would not turn back. The emergency transmission tore through human deep space monitoring networks, triggering alarms that had not been activated in centuries. Inside Earth's Planetary Defense Command, massive holographic displays flared to life as analysts decoded the signal's ancient structure. The moment its origin and coding became clear, silence overtook the chamber. This was not a standard distress call. It was an extinction-level alert. Human strategic doctrine allowed no hesitation in such cases. The signal's architecture matched relic frequencies tied to galaxy-scale disasters, threats capable of erasing civilizations in days. Automated systems instantly elevated the alert status to Omega Black, the highest emergency classification in human military history. Within seconds, every major fleet command, weapons platform, and defense network across human-controlled space synchronized into a single operational mind. The conclusion was unanimous. If such a signal had been activated, then something powerful enough to threaten the galaxy had already emerged. There could be no delays. No debate. No diplomacy. Humanity responded the only way it ever had, with overwhelming force. Authorization codes cascaded through encrypted channels, unlocking sealed hangars buried deep inside artificial moons. Massive armored gates slowly parted, revealing the largest warship humanity had ever built. The Oblivion Spear. Its sheer scale defied comprehension. Stretching thousands of kilometers from bow to stern, its hull was layered with adaptive armor capable of absorbing stellar radiation and gravitational shockwaves. Entire ecosystems operated within its interior, supporting tens of thousands of elite personnel, engineers, pilots, scientists, and genetically enhanced soldiers trained for extreme combat. Its weapons were not designed for battle. They were designed for annihilation. Planet-fracturing cannons, gravitational collapse generators, and reality distortion arrays powered up as the ship awakened from dormancy. Entire power grids redirected their output to fuel its engines, bending spacetime itself to allow faster-than-light acceleration. Standing at its command bridge was a human captain whose reputation alone carried enough fear to deter entire civilizations. They had survived wars that erased star empires, orchestrated victories against enemies once thought invincible, and commanded operations classified beyond galactic security clearance. One look at the decoded SOS convinced them that hesitation meant extinction. Orders were issued without pause. Maximum acceleration. Full combat readiness. Total threat elimination posture. The Oblivion Spear tore open a hyperspace corridor, vanishing from human territory in a surge of blinding energy. Escort fleets followed, though they were little more than shadows beside the colossal vessel. As the ship crossed unimaginable distances in mere hours, alien sensors first detected its gravitational wake. Instruments malfunctioned. Navigation arrays recalibrated repeatedly. What initially appeared as a stellar anomaly soon resolved into something impossible, a single object approaching with the mass and energy output of a small star. Panic erupted across the Coalition's star system. Civilian habitats scrambled evacuation procedures. Research stations severed external power links. Planetary defense grids activated for the first time in recorded history, though everyone knew they were meaningless against such power. As the ship closed in, its silhouette eclipsed constellations, transforming distant starlight into a creeping darkness. Shockwaves rippled through hyperspace, distorting local space-time. Inside the human command decks, weapons systems synchronized, targeting algorithms locking onto every major structure, orbital station, and planetary surface. The captain studied the data streams in silence. The system showed no visible signs of military buildup. No fleets. No weapons. No fortifications. Yet the ancient SOS insisted catastrophe loomed. And humanity did not ignore extinction warnings. The ship continued its advance, prepared to erase whatever threat awaited, even if it meant erasing an entire star system to do it. The colossal warship emerged from hyperspace in a blinding surge of energy, its arrival bending space and flooding the alien system with gravitational shockwaves. Stars dimmed beneath its shadow. Entire orbital lanes destabilized. For millions watching from fragile habitats and planetary surfaces, the vessel appeared less like a ship and more like a moving piece of the cosmos itself. Fear spread instantly. Emergency channels across the Coalition erupted with frantic transmissions, broadcasting peace codes, surrender declarations, scientific identifiers, and universal diplomatic symbols. Every language, frequency, and mathematical pattern was thrown into space in a desperate attempt to communicate. There was no immediate response. Instead, the warship's targeting arrays ignited. Invisible beams scanned every station, every city, every moon, and every orbital platform. Massive energy signatures surged as weapon systems aligned. Silent targeting locks spread across the system, marking millions of lives with cold mechanical precision. Inside the alien council chambers, panic collapsed into despair. Leaders who had never witnessed war now stood on the brink of annihilation. Their mistake had summoned extinction. At last, a human transmission broke through. Its tone was calm, controlled, mercilessly professional. The message demanded full disclosure of the threat responsible for activating the ancient SOS. Any attempt at deception would result in immediate planetary sterilization. The Coalition responded with the truth. They explained the relic, the test, the accident, the runaway transmission. They shared internal data logs, energy readings, system recordings, and every fragment of proof they possessed. Their voices trembled as they begged humanity to understand. Silence followed. Long minutes stretched into unbearable eternity. Within the warship's command core, human analysts dissected the incoming data. The evidence aligned. No weapons. No hidden fleets. No strategic defenses. No technological infrastructure capable of justifying extinction-level alarm. Confusion rippled through the command hierarchy. The captain ordered deeper analysis of the beacon's internal architecture. Specialized teams unraveled layers of ancient code, digging into its dormant subroutines. What they uncovered chilled even veteran strategists. The beacon was not a simple distress device. It was a trigger. Embedded within its systems were ancient activation protocols designed to awaken long-dormant constructs scattered throughout deep space. The SOS was never meant to summon help. It was meant to initiate something else. Long-range scanners suddenly began detecting abnormal energy fluctuations across multiple star sectors. Signals identical to those hidden within the beacon were awakening across distant systems. Ancient power cores, silent for millions of years, were reactivating. The galaxy itself was stirring. Human command realized the horrifying truth. The Coalition's accident had not summoned humanity. It had awakened a system built to respond to universal collapse. Something ancient. Something vast. Something that had once required galaxy-scale extermination safeguards. The warship's mission parameters shifted instantly. Weapons powered down from offensive alignment. Defensive arrays surged online. Massive shield generators unfolded across space, forming protective barriers around alien worlds. Human fleets redirected toward interception coordinates as deep space anomalies multiplied. The captain transmitted a single message to the Coalition. There was no anger. No blame. Only cold certainty. Whatever they had awakened was coming. And if humanity failed to stop it, nothing in the galaxy would survive. The colossal ship repositioned itself between the alien system and the approaching unknown, engines roaring as it prepared for a battle no civilization had ever fought. The misunderstanding had nearly caused genocide. But now, it had unleashed something far worse. And only Deathworlders stood between the galaxy and extinction. Across deep space, ancient power signatures ignited like dying stars coming back to life. Structures buried within forgotten nebulae, rogue planets, and collapsed star systems began to awaken. For millions of years, these constructs had remained dormant, waiting for a signal no living civilization remembered. Now, the accidental activation of the ancient beacon had triggered them all at once. Human long-range sensors tracked the surge in energy with grim precision. The data formed a horrifying pattern, a network of automated systems positioned across the galaxy, engineered to respond to extinction-level collapse. Whatever their original creators had feared, they had built machines capable of erasing entire regions of space to contain it. And those machines were waking up. The Oblivion Spear shifted fully into defensive configuration. Its colossal frame unfolded layered shield arrays capable of bending gravity, warping light, and dispersing cosmic radiation. Entire battle groups formed around it, human fleets emerging from hyperspace in relentless waves. For the first time in galactic history, humanity assembled a defense line not to conquer, but to protect. Across the Coalition's worlds, billions watched in silent awe as the Deathworlders transformed their arrival from terror into salvation. Massive energy barriers locked into place around planets. Orbital platforms were reinforced. Evacuation corridors opened toward protected zones inside the human formation. What moments earlier had been a looming execution now became an unbreakable shield. Deep space anomalies intensified. Vast shapes stirred beyond sensor range, their signatures bending spacetime as they advanced. Automated precursor constructs activated in synchronized patterns, preparing to deploy sterilization protocols across entire sectors. Human command did not hesitate. The Oblivion Spear launched its first defensive strike, not an act of aggression, but a calculated interception. Gravitational suppression fields collapsed emerging anomalies before they could fully materialize. Entire regions of space folded inward, neutralizing threats that could have erased solar systems. The scale of the engagement eclipsed anything recorded in galactic history. Human warships maneuvered with terrifying precision, coordinating across light years in perfect synchronization. Their technology adapted in real time, rewriting combat algorithms faster than precursor systems could adjust. Each human maneuver denied the ancient machines their intended extermination paths. As the conflict escalated, human engineers uncovered deeper layers within the precursor network. The constructs had been designed to cleanse the galaxy whenever uncontrolled expansion or unknown cosmic threats threatened universal stability. Their logic was absolute. Their response was total annihilation. Humanity fought not just for survival, but for the right of every civilization to exist. Gradually, the precursor signals weakened. One by one, ancient power cores went dark. Deep space sensors stabilized. Silence returned. The final data streams confirmed the impossible. Humanity had neutralized a galaxy-scale extermination system. Across countless worlds, disbelief turned into reverence. The Coalition transmitted their gratitude, their apologies, and their awe. They had feared Deathworlders as harbingers of destruction. Now they understood the deeper truth. Humanity did not seek war. They answered it. The Oblivion Spear remained in orbit, silent and watchful, its massive presence a reminder etched into galactic memory forever. One mistaken signal had nearly ended everything. But it had also revealed why, when the universe stands on the brink of annihilation, only Deathworlders are capable of holding the line.